Okay, welcome to the video on binary search trees. So we have already been working with binary trees, traversing them, counting nodes, counting only children, grandparents, etc. And now we're going to step into doing some labs with binary search trees. So hopefully this video can help you along the way if you need it. So first up, there's a worksheet on the web that I will hand out in class to kind of walk through some of the binary search tree characteristics. So recall from day one that binary search tree means that now our data that's in our tree is actually going to be sorted somewhat. So in a binary search tree, all the left children of a node are less than that node. So you can see here's the 4, and all the nodes to the left of 4 are less than 4. And similarly, all the nodes to the right of 4 are greater than 4. And that's going to be true for any node that you pick in the binary search tree, is that if you go down to the children, grandchildren, whoever's below, so for the 2, 1 is less than 2, 3 is greater than 2. For the 6, 5 is less than 6, 7 is greater than 6. So one of the first things to understand or to accept about a binary tree is that even though this is the case where the data is somewhat is in a sorted is sorted in that manner where everything to the left is left, everything to the right is greater, it doesn't mean the data necessarily looks sorted. So looking at this in its entirety, you don't necessarily pick up on the fact that it is sorted in this way. So keep that in mind. I think some of the troubled spots that students run into is expecting certain values to be in certain places because the data is somewhat sorted. But drawing some examples on paper and going through slowly can help you keep track and find things. So why have a binary search tree, right? So if you recall from APCSA, when I have data that is sorted, or rather not sorted, so it's just randomly in an array list or any sort of data structure, in order to find something, it can be very tedious. I may have to look at every value in that data structure to find what I'm looking for. So we found in A that if our data was sorted, that we could find things very quickly using a binary search. And so in my class, I think Mr. Grover did it as well, but the binary search was the one where we're tearing the phone book in half. So if I am looking for 5, for example, when I look at this 4 and I know 5 is greater, since all my data is sorted, I can throw all these nodes away because I know everything to the left of 4 is less. And if I'm looking for 5 and it's greater than 4, that means this whole half of the tree gets thrown away. So it's harder to appreciate in a small example like this, but that's what the phone book was. So we had the ordered names, and immediately I can cut off half of the phone book, and then similarly I can do the same. So then I can go to the 6, and again, presumably if this is a bigger tree, again when I know that 5 is less than 6, everything to the right of 6, there may be hundreds of nodes to the right of 6, are immediately discounted. I know what I'm looking for is not there. So a binary search tree allows us to do binary searches, and the way that it works is that when the data is put into the tree, it's put in this format so that everything to the left is to the left and everything to the right is greater, and so that allows the data to be sorted. So again, it's sorted as the data goes into the tree. So recall also from the first couple days that once you have the binary search tree built and it follows the rules, that doing an in-order traversal where we do the left and then the node and then the right. So an in-order traversal for printing would print all the nodes in sorted order. So keep that in mind when you want to print everything from min to max. Okay, so again, since I'm cutting everything in half, when I go to search for an item, I now have a log n algorithm. So my tree is built, and as I go to search for something, I'm cutting my data in half every time. So I get that log n algorithm for a search. Similarly, if I'm going to insert a new item, so let's say I want to insert an 8, I need to find the spot. The process for finding that spot is very similar in that I'm cutting. I know when I look at this 4 that the 8 should go to the right of it. So I've already discounted half of my data. I don't need to look at all that. So the search is for the insertion spot is the longest piece of this insert, is finding where it gets inserted. That's the log n piece. And similarly, when I want to delete a node, the actual delete is just moving some pointers around, but finding the element to delete is going to be that same log n search. And so for a comparison, looking back at our array list, we can see that when I went to search for an item in an array list, presumably if it's a sorted array list, so this assumes it's a sorted array list, I can do that same binary search to find the item. Now when I want to insert something, I can do the binary search to find it, but then recall with an array list there's going to be a shift of some elements. And so the net result in terms of big O is going to be an n efficiency, a big O of n. Similarly for the delete, I search and I'm going to have some shifting, and so really this is an n efficiency level. For a linked list, since I can't really sort and access indexes, remember a linked list, there's no way to go directly to an element. So every time I go through the list, once I find the thing, the insertion, deletion, any process I want to do is small, but the process of finding the element can take big O of n. So we can see that this binary search tree is going to improve our efficiency on all levels. Okay, so peek here. Okay, so we're going to walk through a couple examples. Trying to decide. I think I'll finish this video up, and then the next video will be walking through how to build the tree the first time, just walking through some examples. So just a couple comments about this, that as I said, the binary search tree, it gets built in sorted order. So the whole log n efficiency is only going to be in effect if the tree is balanced somewhat. So full and complete trees are preferred. So here, this isn't gonna, because this is not a balanced tree, I'm not gonna get that cutting off piece, right? So if everything's to the left of the 4, then if I'm looking for something that's less than 4, I haven't really gotten rid of any data. I haven't really saved myself any time. So there's quite a few different types of trees, and so there's some names here: AVL tree, red-black tree, and then there's a self-balancing tree. So often, as we are inserting nodes into a binary search tree, we do shifts, left shift, right shift, to try and keep the data somewhat balanced. So some of that's beyond the scope of this course, but just keep that in mind, that as with anything, nothing's as simple or as great as it appears at first. There is some other work that needs to be done in order to maintain this log n efficiency. So those are some basics on binary search tree. In the next video, we will build 3 trees from scratch, talk about the steps for doing that. So I'll see you in the next video.